Welcome to the Plant-Based Podcast. Did you know that plants are truly amazing? Not only can you grow them and eat them, you can also wear them, drink them, nourish your skin with them, and so much more. Let Ellen and Michael inspire you to love plants as much as they do, as they chat with the movers and shakers in this wonderful plant-based world. So, let's dig in.
Transform your garden the easy way with sponsors of Series 20 of the podcast, Garden on a Roll. It's the perfect solution for beautiful, ready-made garden borders. If you love the look of professionally designed planting but don't have the time, knowledge or patience to plan it yourself, Garden on a Roll has you covered. Each border is expertly designed by award-winning garden designer Antony Henn, and delivered with a simple, pre-planned, biodegradable template you can roll out and plant in one go. No guesswork, no stress, just follow the instructions and enjoy the results. Whether you're refreshing a tired space or starting from scratch, you'll get a cohesive, seasonal design that works with plants chosen to thrive together and look great all year round. Choose your style and size, and everything you need is delivered to your door. It's planting by numbers. Visit Garden on a Roll today and bring your outdoor space to life.
What would you ask a plant if it could talk back? At Cambridge University Botanic Garden, a new exhibition called Talking Plants is letting visitors do just that. By scanning a QR code, you can have a conversation with the plants. From the Titan arum to the jade vine, this is all powered by AI, which is trained on real botanical science. In this episode, we're going to explore how technology is helping us to see and hear the plant world in a completely new way.
And today we're here with Catherine and Rafi as we uncover the world of plants and AI. So welcome to the podcast, both of you. Hiya. Just so you know, before we started this, we were all having like a party and being loud and laughing, and now we've started, we've all gone
it's
like,
glass house party.
It's really quiet and like, hi. So we're sitting here amongst all the plants, which is so awesome. Michael and I have just had a little photo shoot here as well. It's early spring, the blossoms out. But we've noticed all of these little pink QR codes all around next to some plants, which is really cool. And that's your Talking Plants exhibition, isn't it? Yeah. So we're here to find out more about that and what that means, how it was developed, and, you know, why are you using AI to give plants a voice? Now, I haven't listened to one yet, so we're going to do that live. And I cannot wait to hear a plant talking. I think that's going to be really, really cool. So either of you, Catherine or Rafi, tell us about the Talking Plants exhibition. What's it all about?
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay.
Sure. So there's 20 plants in total. You're looking at 2 here in Life Before Flowers. They're actually across the whole glasshouse range, so people can really go into any house and start a conversation. Wow. We worked as a team in the garden, so curation, learning and horticulture, to do a lot of research and compile all of the information that we had about the plants. So that was really fun. We were able to pull lots of stuff together, lots of kind of stories about their provenance, their collection, how they made it to the collection here in the garden, specific horticultural advice, all of that sort of stuff, what we use them, how we use them for educational events. And then we worked with an organisation called Nature Perspectives. So they're this great organisation. They're founded by 2 people who did the Conservation Leadership Masters in Cambridge. So they really share similar objectives to us, to try to engage people with the natural world. And their idea is to use generative AI, to give natural entities a voice. So we have partnered with them. This idea came to us because they had already partnered with the Museum of Zoology in Cambridge. They did this last year, and you you could speak to 13 objects in the Zoology Museum, for example, the dodo.
That's so cool.
And yeah, they ran that last year, and we were really interested in doing that for the first time for plants, and to compare a little bit the questions that people would ask an object, an animal versus a plant, say. So at the end of last year, we started to work closely with Nature Perspectives, giving them the information that they needed to then train models using generative AI to develop personalities for each of the plants. And we put in lots of information about their personalities, how we saw them, all of the information I discussed. And then Nature Perspectives came back to us with the chatbot. And so what that means is that you can go into the house, in the glasshouse range, you use your phone, you launch the chatbot, and you're in a text exchange or speech-to-speech with that plant. And it uses all of the information to be able to answer any question you can think of in any language that you want in a way that is framed in the kind of important messaging that we wanted to get across, and also the wider information that's accessible to the chatbot. And yeah, I mean, we can talk about the questions that some of the people ask. It's fantastic.
Can I just say, I do talk to my plants, but they've never talked back. And that's one of the reasons why I like my plants.
They probably moan at you.
Yeah, so now I feel like I'm going to talk to a plant and it's going to really tell me how it feels about things.
Yeah, so interesting.
So, before we talk about kind of plant personalities, you ladies have got different roles here. So, Rafi, you're working in the education side. Catherine, you're kind of like horticulturist here. So, kind of between you guys, how did you decide what the plant's personalities would actually then be?
Well, I think that we really took a lot from what the plant is actually showing us already. You know, we've got the jade vine, for example, which is always like the star of the show in spring. It's flowering at the moment, has these beautiful racemes of really bright blue flowers, and it's a real visitor favourite. So it kind of makes sense that the personality for that plant would be something that's kind of sassy. It's a bit showy-offy. It knows that it's the best in the room. So we really took a lot from what the plants were telling us. And then also we've got ones that maybe have some kind of interesting story behind them. So maybe thinking about the mimosa, which is the sensitive plant. Its leaves kind of droop when something brushes up against it, which is a herbivory response. So that makes sense that it's sensitive. It's maybe a little bit shy. So we really tried to read a lot from the information we knew about the plant and what it was showing us.
It's quite fun. For example, the welwitschia in arid lands, it's dry-witted and quite kind of wise, because welwitchias live for about 2,000 years. So if you want like a straight-talking plant, go to the welwitschia.
Well, we're gonna have a play later on, aren't we?
I can't wait. I really do want to hear the jade vine sassiness. Like, I'm looking forward to that.
She's
for
actually
sure.
the most popular, the jade vine. Yeah, the lithops. They're the two that people love the most. The
I want to know what they've got to say.
But what sort of questions have people been asking the plants? Have you had any surprises?
Yeah, we have. So what's amazing about this is that we are doing it as it's an experimental exhibition. Yeah. So we're able to generate lots of insights. We're able to see kind of the age, what type of questions that people are asking, and then we're able to use AI to kind of and analyse the kind of broad themes of what people want to know. And what we see from the types of questions that people are asking are that broadly they're interested in anatomy, plant form, and interested in habitat and range, and then also interested in the feelings of the plant, so the actual entity's perspective and their emotions, which is really interesting. At the Museum of Zoology, that came a bit higher up on the list. It's still quite high up for us, and it's quite interesting to think how that encourages visitors to get into the kind of situation where they're thinking, okay, what's it like to be this plant? How does it feel? What does it experience growing in these conditions and in the wild? What I really like is when people are able to ask quite technical, like mechanism-driven questions. For the mimosa, for example, people that straight in there, well, how does it work? How does the leaf folding work? How many times can I touch you? Because I know for a Venus flytrap I can't do that very much before you die. Oh, I can do it a bit more, but still still not loads of times. They can really do that back and forth for quite some time. Like the longest conversation we've seen is over 100 messages exchanged. Yeah. So you can really get into the detail. Yeah. With the Welwitschia that I mentioned, it has an introductory paragraph that kind of says, oh, I only ever produce 2 leaves. What you're looking at is just 2 leaves over my long lifetime. The person I saw said, well, it looks like 4 leaves to me. Yeah. And then the plant can say, no, it's 2. I can explain. So you can do some, you can really get into the details, and you can't do that so much when you're limited to, say, an interpretive board that has only a certain amount of space and a certain amount of pictures. Yeah. I love how it's visitor driven.
Yeah.
This is so cool. It's like AI, but with humour as well, which is great.
Yeah. It's like education, mix of humour, and it's such a modern approach to education and really engaging people with plants and learning. I absolutely love it. Now, sorry, carry on. Carry on, Catherine.
I was going to say, it's been quite sweet. Our office is just off the corridor, and we can hear people's conversations going up and down.
Really?
And we've noticed that a lot more people, they're having a conversation with a plant, and then children in particular are then going on to another plant which isn't part of the exhibition, but then being like saying to their parent, can we talk to this one? Like, what's this one doing? Like, what's this flower showing? And it's really sweet. I think that it's really making people a lot more engaged with the collection as a whole.
Really interesting.
It's very cool. Like, we are going to talk more about AI and the links with learning. But I think at this point, I think we should have a play so our listeners can hear what we are talking about.
Hugh the Thermos over there.
Right, we're going live with Hugh the Thermos. Does Hugh know that he's going to be live on a podcast?
Yes, what do we do?
Tell us what we do. Yeah. Okay. So, Michael, you use your phone to get
I am.
Right, so that we're going to do a video with this as well. So there's a QR code by all of the plants that are part of this exhibition. And this is Hugh the Thermos. So Michael's now scanning the QR code, and we're going to see what happens.
I love your commentary.
Thank you.
It's like Newmarket
I should be... Yeah, I was going to say I should be a horse racing.
Oh, I have to put my age in.
You do?
Oh.
Yeah.
He doesn't like to give...
39.
Is it? Oh. Well, he's as ancient as the plant we're now looking
27.
up.
The AI is also picking its responses based on the age. So, even amongst me and my colleagues, we've been playing around with this of all different ages, and the responses that the plants are giving changes depending.
Kind of age-related responses.
Yeah.
That's
also
very
something
cool.
that you can't do that easily with interpretation.
Sure.
So
cool.
Okay, so I've scanned it. I've put my name, my age in, and then I've got this reply, and you can see Hugh the Thermos is open to chat. So I can play that out loud, can I?
If your volume is right up.
What you can also do is you can go straight into speech-to-speech mode.
Okay.
Hello, Michael. I'm Hugh, Cuperzia squarosa, the rather distinguished green mass hanging just by your shoulder here in Life Before Flowers. Careful, I might brush your hair if you stand too close. The air's nicely humid this afternoon. Feels good on my tips.
What? What draws you to the glass house today? Oh, how do I speak back then?
So you can just press this little microphone button, and then it will just ask for access.
What shall I say?
You have to choose what to say.
Like
what would you love to ask it?
I got a question for you, but I live in England, and I want to know if I can grow you in England.
You can, but you'll need warmth and humidity like I get here. A bright, sheltered spot indoors or in a greenhouse works best. Just don't let me dry out.
Mm-hmm. And why, when I see you in a botanic garden, you're always growing in an upside-down pot?
Well, I hang epiphytically, so soil isn't my thing. The basket lets my shoots drape freely and catch light from all sides. Hanging keeps me away from soggy ground and closer to warm, moist air.
And also, I feel like you look like a heather. Are you related to Heather? Erica?
Not closely, though we both wear tiny leaves. Heather's a flowering plant, while I'm a lycophyte, much older line. I spread spores instead of seeds, so we're distant cousins at best.
So you're more like a moss?
I'm a bit more like a mossy cousin, yes. I have vascular tissue, though. Tiny pipes to move water, so I'm sturdier than true moss. But spore spreading, that we share.
I have an idea. I think that you'd be really nice used in a bouquet of flowers. What do you feel about floristry using your leaves?
Being snipped feels like losing a limb. I'd prefer to stay whole, breathing naturally.
Doesn't approve. Sorry, my questions can be quite out. What else can I ask? What do you want to ask, Ellen?
What I would like to know is, how do you feel about pests and diseases? Do you cope well with them?
I keep fairly calm. A mossy basket hosts helpful fungi and tiny creatures that fend off trouble. If something nibbles, I thicken the stem and carry on. Slow, steady resilience.
Oh, that was super cool. That went really well. How did you find that, Rafi?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Yeah. It's nice to listen to how Hugh responds to the quite complicated evolution questions about the diversification, the different lineages of plants. Like, he was able to refer quite nicely to how lycophytes are their own lineage, quite closely related to the moss, is different from the flowering plants.
Definitely. And I was trying to come at it like a normal consumer. It's like, oh, well, this looks like a heather that you'd have in the garden. And then suddenly I'm like, then I asked him a question about floristry. I was like, I could use that in a vase. And so it kind of, and why'd you go upside down in a pot? All the things that kind of like a usual member of the public is going to be like, what? Why is that? So
the first question people would have when they come in this house is, why are they all growing out the bottom of pots? That seems really weird. And we saw the same for the mimosa, with someone asking, you don't have pea flowers. Like, why aren't your flowers like peas? So really, these potentially quite technical questions.
It really provokes curiosity, doesn't it? It kind of allows you to be curious. And I always think that that's something, especially as adults, we don't do so well. Do you know what I mean? Because we either think we know it all, or we just feel like kind of okay with whatever's on the, descriptive board. We don't look for more. So this kind of allows you to explore all the questions that you might be thinking and you either dare and ask, do you know what I mean? Or, I think it's really, really cool.
Imagine, in a garden centre on a label.
That would be perfect.
That's a really good point.
Oh,
like, why, like, do you think that, talking to plants in this way will change how people think about them compared with, like, the traditional labels, on plants? Do you think that that's going to make a change?
Well, I think something that you just said about sort of being able to ask questions that you might not dare to ask. I think that that's a really interesting point because staff in a garden are always around to be able to help and answer questions.
But you don't want to ask a silly question.
You don't want to answer a silly question.
You laughed earlier about English culture, but that's very English culture, isn't it? As well?
Yeah.
That's a very interesting application for AI. Because you can ask AI a silly question, in inverted commas.
Another thing that we've found to be remarkable is that you can ask in any language. And so this is the first example in the garden where we can offer something multilingual. In the last week, we've had French, Japanese, every language. I think maybe like 10 languages in the last week. You can ask in Welsh. I grew up in Wales, so I was like, it does sound like it's speaking Welsh. and that really opens up a whole nother area.
That's very cool. I love it.
There's so much potential here. It's really.
It takes away that when you're in a class and the teacher says, "Does anyone have any questions?" and you don't want to put your hand up and ask the question. Like this really helps you just because it's fun. So you also feel like you can have fun with it and ask those silly questions without feeling silly. I love it.
It has
a good idea.
Fun games as well. We were playing around with it, and I know you can ask it to sort of lead a meditation. I asked the Xanthoroa in our Continents Apart house to write me a poem, and I wrote this beautiful little poem about I think it was about the weather or something that day. But it sort of sends these little prompts out if you're not entirely sure with a question too, which is fun.
That is incredible.
Trivia, that's fun. You can play trivia with the plants.
Tell a joke.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I got a bit of a top line question actually, and it's kind of a very big discussion that you can both chip in on. I think plants are often overlooked compared with animals, even though they shape our entire ecosystem. First of all, how do you feel as a botanic garden? You're working on that. How do you feel like this exhibition is kind of working on that as well? Kind of like it's a big question, but what are your feelings with that? Both of you.
Yeah, I think about this question quite a lot, I think, because I only came to plants after my undergraduate degree, even though now it seems obvious to me. And from an education background, I have to say it's higher education. The first time, the only times I learned about plants, including my undergrad, which was in biochemistry, was photosynthesis, right? And photosynthesis is an amazing mechanism, but it's complicated and it's quite dry. way. And actually what I really think is that if you're learning about this thing that plants do, this amazing thing, you know, they're taking carbon dioxide, they're producing oxygen, out of context, out of like the context of plant diversity, how old they are, how important in ecosystems they are, all of their relationships that they have in the ecosystem with other organisms, then you're just learning about it as a mechanism. That's quite difficult, quite complicated, and you lose all of those super engaging things that plants do, how clever they are, how adaptive they are. One little anecdote I'll say is I was giving a seminar recently to students, widening access seminar about plant sciences, and I was talking about symbiosis, which is my research subject, all about the different ways, the kind of 500 million years of evolution that plants have had with fungi. It's amazing, universal relationship. I had the comments box open, and one of the students said, absolutely heartbreaking, lots of heartbroken emojis, that this isn't taught at school. And it's like, it is, because these subjects really capture people's attention, and actually if you're teaching things out of context of like all of the amazing things that plants do, I think people aren't so interested. I think they're not so inclined to understand. That's kind of where how I feel about how plant. And it takes a long time then for people to come to plants. They tend to come through them. They tend to come to them through gardening or through other avenues. Like I have to say, I didn't really know plant sciences was a subject. Like, and that's not that unusual. Even though I was quite in the field, like I was quite in the field, and then I could tell you about fungi, like you think plants are sidelined. But they don't, then they're in some ways that I think on a superficial level they can be seen not as engaging as animals, so we have to think creatively about how we teach subjects around
purely because they don't move. Really, well, majority don't move.
Apart from the sensitive plant, which I definitely think we're going to have to go and find out a bit more about in a little
But Catherine,
while.
how do you feel about that? Because it's like plant blindness is kind of such a big thing now, and people move around not even imagining how much is happening around them, even in a normal urban street.
100%.
Yeah.
I think this display has been quite a good opportunity to show some of the plants that aren't necessarily flowering, or they don't have some kind of immediately visual excitement to them. You know, we've been able to show plants that have, say, a good conservation story. But I think that sort of managing the glass houses as a whole, so often, you know, you can walk through it and it literally just looks like a sea of green, and it's not until you sort of see something flower or you start reading about something that you're like, wow, that is absolutely incredible. You know, we have a few and one of my favourite genera in the glass houses is Aristolochia, and we have a couple, there's one of my favourites, Tractina, and that flowers maybe once a year, but the flower is absolutely incredible. It looks just like the Demogorgon in Stranger Things. It has this like really odd, bizarre flower.
Maybe that's what they, you know, crafted it from.
But for the rest of the year, it's sort of trained up onto our balcony, and it literally looks like a couple of sort of dead sticks. You'd never tell, and I think that, you know, you kind of almost want to give everybody a daily tour to say, like, this is really interesting. Totally. Like, read up about sort of pollination syndromes, or why this is as interesting as it is. But I think plant blindness is a definite problem.
But it's getting back to the schools is the thing.
It is education. It comes back to education always, doesn't it?
Because all you really do at school, when you're super young, is like you just grow a run of bean in a jar, and it's just kind of almost as a fun novelty.
And crisp.
That's a serious thing. Totally. But also, you know, I work in a slightly different world to you guys, kind of like the more commercial side of it, and I wish, as a career in the commercial side of horticulture, I wish that was seen. Like maybe you went to a plant nursery, or kind of like almost a factory where plants are being grown and handled by robots, and that side of it as well, to get people involved in careers. So completely the other end to botany, but also acknowledging that world exists, which
basically
you never see as a career option.
It is just acknowledging, you know, plants.
You just think plants are a cute thing.
In general. People always say to me, why do you love plants so much? And I'm literally like, but you can't eat, drink or breathe without them. It is that simple. Do you realise, like, if there wasn't horsetail, for example, the ancient old horsetail, that would be a problem. Do you know what I mean? Because that's how things have evolved, you know? Like, you eradicate one thing and that impacts another thing. Like, everything is totally connected, isn't it? And I just like, but do you not realise that you would not be alive without plants? And it's like, you know? What I'd love to know, though, going back to the exhibition quickly, is if plants could genuinely communicate with humans, what do you think they would want us to know? What do you think they would want us to understand about
Don't
them?
overwater me.
I was just thinking about that. I think we've got a few plants in our collection that we do struggle with, and it would be great to just be able to say, like, please,
what do you want? What do you want?
Yeah, definitely. On a wider scale, though, I think that there's definitely so much to say about conservation, and it would be fantastic if we could sort of anthropomorphize these sort of habitats or plants that are in need of conservation, and then hopefully, people would pay more attention to them. Even in terms of our garden plants, if you could have a deciduous oak say, like, please leave my leaves down in the garden, like, they're so good for wildlife. That would be fantastic. And there's all these like small little changes that people can make at home. It doesn't all have to be sort of research or a really scientific level. Like, there's a lot that could be said that people can do at home as well.
Imagine if we got to the point in life where everyone's garden, plant, tree, everything had a QR code on it. So you could, do you know what I mean? You could literally scan it and say, when do you need watering or da-da-da. Imagine that. Wouldn't that be incredible? So we could take care of plants, via AI. I just think it's totally fascinating. I love this, but I love coming to Cambridge Botanic Garden. Just got to say that.
Sorry, emotionally.
I'm having an emotional moment.
I'll give her a tissue.
I love it here. I'd like to work here.
Oh, but I think we've kind of covered this already. But plants are so misunderstood as well. What do you think is most misunderstood about them? Would you say?
That's a good question.
Yeah, nice top. I love a good top line question.
Yeah. I think for me, I think that it would probably be something along the lines of the interactions they have with other organisms. I'm really interested in pollination syndromes. We have a lot of plants with really wacky relationships with their pollinators in the glass houses. At the moment, we have a really good orchid collection, and at the moment, a lot of those are flowering. And some of the sort of adaptions that they have to be able to have a really specific pollinator.
What's your favourite one?
Favourite orchid?
Yeah. Or what's your favourite relationship? Of orchids, not your own.
I could talk about that too. My favourite genre of orchid is bulbophyllum, and it's a bit of a cop-out answer because it's also the largest one.
I've seen one.
It's really They're nice. So cool. But we have some of the really gigantic ones. One of my favourites is bulbophyllum phalaenopsis, and its leaves can get sort of well over a metre long. Yeah. But it's pollinated by carrion flies. So when it flowers, it has this sort of huge red inflorescence, which is all kind of speckly and mottled. It has these little sort of yellowy protuberances, and it looks just like a piece of rotting flesh or something. And it also really, really smells.
Does it?
Yeah. So I think that's pretty wacky.
Almost like a miniaturized Rafflesia, really. Same concept.
Cool. Yeah, and a lot of Aristolochia do that as well.
I love the Salvadorensis.
Yeah, that's a really good one.
It looks like Darth Vader.
It looks like a little.
He's trying to entice you behind to see what's in there.
Yeah. That's flowering pretty much every day of the year. So if anyone wants to come and see that, it's in our main. Yeah,
have you got it here?
We do. Yeah, we have it here. It's in our main tropics
because
house.
those you never see the flowers because they're always down at ground level, aren't they?
We grow in a pot, so you can see it. Yeah.
Oh, I love that one.
Yeah, it's a really kooky one.
Now I have to ask the question because we're all very excited about the exhibition and the possibilities of it. But before we were recording, we were saying how AI can be used for great things, but also, it's not great in other ways. Do you think, and how can we continue to use AI to help people learn about nature? Do you think that will work? And are there limitations to that? I.e., I don't want to move into where it becomes scary AI. Do you know what I mean? So what do you think about that balance?
Really, part of this experiment was to explore both the kind of positive and negative aspects of using AI, and to really kind of lean into how AI can be used positively in research, in public engagement. We're quite closely monitoring the environmental impact of the exhibition, so we're able to see from the data that we're collecting that each interaction is equivalent to using 100 millilitres of water, for example, or sending one email with a newsletter attachment. So it's been quite interesting to think carefully and to also open up the dialogue about how AI can be used. It's not this kind of homogenous thing. It can be used in many different ways. It's its applications that are important, how you apply it, what you use it before. And so actually, as an educational tool, as a public engagement tool, we're just starting to explore those positive applications here. And I'm really excited about its use in education. I mean, I wanted to chip in on the what don't we know about plants, and I reiterate Catherine's points about not understanding how clever they are and how adaptive they are, and even not actually knowing what you're looking at. Like a majority of people won't actually know what bits of the flower that they're observing, and I think there's so much pleasure to be gained from having that detail, understanding that detail. And what AI can do is help us learn. So it can really aid our learning. It can be used by students, for example, in interactive quizzing, so to be understanding what they don't know and asking them questions, feeding back on that. I'm excited by that as a possibility. Expanding the reaching more audiences, that's what we've seen a lot with here. And also creating a kind of environment or atmosphere. So if we see these plants, we're mostly seeing them out of their context, out of the habitats that they're from. And actually what this exhibition could do, and other uses of the technology, could be to kind of create an image in people's minds, or even in real life, of what those habitats are. Something that people can engage with and kind of see and imagine what the habitat might feel like. Yeah, I mean, so many possibilities. It's been great to kind of start that conversation about how AI can be used in the context like this.
And using it responsibly as well, so important, isn't it?
What about have either of you used any other AI app to help with gardening? Because I feel like a lot of people are now turning to maybe ChatGPT just for the odd gardening advice. Do you feel like that's good or a slippery slope, or any feelings there?
Well, my manager at the moment is actually in Chile on a collection trip, so they're collecting seeds, and they've been uploading all of their sort of findings onto iNaturalist, which have either of you used it?
I've heard it, and I've never
It's a really great app. So I've used it for sort of native biodiversity. So actually during COVID, I got really obsessive with my dad's garden, and it will use AI to give you suggestions as to what a plant is. So that's fantastic, because if you're going on a nature walk, you can use iNaturalist to be able to sort of pick out what you think your plant is. But my colleague, he's been putting all of what they've found on iNaturalist, and then us at home can then sort of log onto his page, follow him, and see what kind of stuff that he's been collecting, and start to make the decisions about what it is that we want to grow here.
That's very cool, isn't it? So thinking about botanic gardens 20 to 30 years from now, what do you think a botanic garden will be like? Do you think there'll be, with the use of AI and technology, how do you see it progressing?
So I think that gardens are really precious spaces for kind of being able to get away from a lot of modern life. We see people really want that in the garden. They come here for the green space, to look at the plant, be engaging with the plant directly. And
isn't that funny? Sorry, how the internet was something to escape from real life, but now real life is something we use to escape the internet? Isn't that weird? So sorry, I just always feel that.
So I don't think we're not going to lose that. We're not going to lose the reality of coming to visit the garden. But I think that technology and potentially AI will be able to influence how we engage people, who we engage, the mode in which we can, who we can reach, and the kind of experience they can have in the garden. Pedagogically, I'm really interested in, like I said, to aid students' learning. So it has that ability to be able to kind of feed back on what you know. And so students can, in their own time, be developing that. For botany, for language, I think that's amazing. There's so much terminology in botany. You really just want AI to be saying, no, you don't know that, you don't know what that means, and here use it in context, practice again. And so for students in their own time to be able to that's a really great potential use of it. And I think can I just
jump in there? What about but it's very easy with AI to learn in that moment, but does that mean you've really learnt it? How is that where, when you were talking about the kind of trivia games, it helps to, because it's very easy to learn something on the spot. We look up something on Wikipedia, we suddenly know everything about it for 4 minutes. And it's
especially
gone.
At my age.
How do we retain this knowledge that we're learning from all this great AI?
How do you keep that in your mind?
Well, it's easy to learn in the moment, but our minds are just always learning new stuff doesn't mean we keep that knowledge.
That would be that's how I see you return to it.
Yeah.
And also you use it as a tool.
Yeah.
So it's just one element. Like if you're out botanizing, the satisfaction comes from, I think, being able to identify the plant yourself.
Yeah.
You know the plant, you know the characteristics you're looking for, you understand the habitat. But AI
so AI is always an
tool.
aid.
It's a tool. Yeah,
that's not a solution.
That's how I see it, and it allows us to diversify our audiences. Yeah.
I think another thing to point out, I'm responsible for the more practical side of things, so we're doing practical horticulture here, and being able to use AI for maybe some more sort of basic parts of our role, it then would free up a lot of time to be able to do things that could maybe be a little bit more.
You mean like the admin side of things?
Even things like using AI for temperature control or humidity or for watering, things like that. That would be really exciting because we have we're sort of every other horticulturalist very busy. If you can sort of try and automate some of those tasks that we spend a lot of time doing, it would then sort of free up sort of stuff and sort of maybe slightly different aspects of botanical horticulture.
It's exciting.
Yeah, definitely. Wow. We really enjoyed being here at the Botanic Gardens today, and learning about your Talking Plants exhibition is just incredible. Yeah. And we're going to go off and play with it a little bit more. We'll put some videos on our socials as well.
Is there one that you really want to go and try chatting with?
What do you suggest?
I like the ant plants.
Yeah.
I think they're really fun, and we had they're sort of growing in terracotta pots in our main tropical house, and one of them was experiencing a little bit of rot, so we were sort of trying to clear that off, but it's actually been fantastic because it's been removed on one side, so now you can see all of the little chambers within the cortex where ants would reside in nature, which is pretty cool.
So the personality that we gave the ant plant was cooperative and is always talking about communal living. So it's the one that wants to be in a commune.
I am an apartment block.
And I think that's part of the route to getting horticulture into people's minds, and the humour, the fun really is one route, isn't it? Yeah. When's your exhibition on until? Tell us that.
We're halfway through it now, and it's running until the 12th of April.
Okay,
yeah.
Superb.
Yeah.
So visitors, listeners will have about another week to visit then, but I think even so, this is a great conversation, to just talk about AI, how that is working in gardens, helping people to appreciate plants, learn about plants, and then understand their importance, really. So thank you for being on the podcast.
Thank you so much. It's been great to talk with you. Thank you. Michael, we're in our 20th series of the Plant-Based Podcast.
Ding it to the dog. I have to say, Ellen, I feel invincible today because I've had my car washed.
That makes all the difference to life.
No, it seriously does. Somehow, I don't know, it changes everything, because my car was just getting a bit scrappy inside, and outside it was just covered in all sorts, and because obviously I'll touch on this in a moment, but I'm technically living out of my car as well, a kind of a comeback Emmerdale character. But so I'm glad I had it. Well, do you know, I've had a full service today, actually. I haven't just had my car washed, but I've had a haircut and I've had a facial as well. So life is looking great, Ellen. How about you in series 20? How are you?
This is all very amazing, and
your ficus looks good at the least.
Thank you. It does. At the least.
But how are you, babe? You need to.
I'm very well. I'm very well, thank you.
Oh, good.
Very good. I haven't had a haircut and a facial today, but I have a dog walk. So does that count?
Oh yeah, that is fantastic. How's the weather? Because you are the one that is based stateside, we must stress.
The weather is currently beautiful. In fact, there was a day last week where it's the hottest day in spring so far. We're due a little bit of rain, which is good, but it's nice. It's nice and warm. Nice and sunny. Yes. And you're just back from California. So what's the weather?
Honestly, opening the curtains most days, and it was just sun. Honestly,
yeah.
But down in Venice Beach, when I got up to Santa Barbara, it was misty. It was misty, Alan Mary. Can you believe that? Misty.
Misty. Why are we pronouncing it?
I had a wonderful time. It was the California Spring Trials. You probably heard me talk about the Dutch flower trials on here before. So it's kind of that, but in the US. So I was invited by a few different companies to create some content for them. So it was a real honor. And so I'm going to be putting that out over the next couple of weeks. Saw some great plants kind of ahead of European release. Sometimes things that don't make it to Europe, or sometimes things that haven't made it to Europe yet because they haven't been hunted down by a plant hunter. But yeah, so it was pretty interesting, really. I've been. What do you want me to tell you that I loved? The Emma Real Davis. I did a podcast with her for QVC yesterday.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, the most exciting plant I saw in the US. Oh my God, I've got to show it to you. And it's that yellow agastache that I sent to you as well. Yeah. And she was like, ooh. People are snobby about yellow, aren't they? I thought it was the most exciting thing since Rivita. Do you know what I mean? It's an amazing plant. It's the colour of it. It looks like a lavender when you first walk up to it. But alas, it's an agastache. And it is in this honey yellow. But people are snobs about yellow. They really are.
I just think yellow in the garden is a love it or hate it colour. It's like Marmite.
But it with purple and it works.
Yellow and purple look beautiful. And imagine like yellow, purple and orange. Because purple and oranges has been a colours thing
Honestly, do you know what? We're sitting here today and we're doing some different interviews here and there, aren't we? We're talking to Andrew Fisher-Tomlin, who's coming up later in the series. I'm going to ask him what he thinks of yellow today.
Yeah.
I'm going to add that in right now, Ellen Mary.
But the interesting thing about yellow, but the interesting thing about yellow is people get snobbish about it. I don't know if snobbish is even really what it is. It's just they do or don't like it. But everyone loves a sunflower and they're yellow.
You're right.
Anyway. Why are
Anyway,
you typing? You're typing while we're talking, which means you're paying no attention to what we're saying.
I just told you what I'm doing, literally. I just said I'm adding in that question. Oh my God, you drive me mad. This is how we are, like an old married couple, honestly. So welcome to Series 20, Melon.
Welcome to Series 20. Gosh, I can't believe
Right, do your admin, then we can all relax.
Are you for real?
I know you're itching to do it. Do your admin.
I wasn't going to do any admin because I know that if I do admin, you say, "Oh, here's Ellen being all official."
No, do your admin, honestly.
Don't know. I don't want to now. I'm shy.
There you got to shy.
Too shy.
Do the admin.
We're on Series 20 of the Plant-Based Podcast. Yay! And in this series, shall we surmise who we have?
She's forgotten.
No, I haven't forgotten. We've got the bearded plantaholic, Johnny, who's just ace. We had a really fun chat with him, didn't we? We went to Cambridge Botanic Gardens about their Talking Plants exhibition, which is this episode. So I hope you've enjoyed that. Farmer Nick, which was really good, all about sustainability, plant-based living. Andrew Fisher-Tomlin, who you've already mentioned. Who else have we got now? I can't remember. That's 4, which I'd say is pretty good for my.
Yeah, no, I think that sums up everything we want to release so far.
Okay.
But no, we're feeling great. Garden on a Roll are our wonderful sponsors as well. They've got a great concept, which is like planting by numbers, where you have this kind of you actually just roll out the planting mat, and then you put your plants through the holes, and you're as good as done. And they've got some amazing different mixes for different sites as well, which is great. And I actually visited the site where they kind of developed that, which is at the Dutch Nursery up in Hertfordshire, and met the big boss, Antony, who's really cool, actually. I think you'd like him, Ellen Mary. Yeah, definitely.
Cool. I wonder if
up your boulevard, as they say.
Hope they have some yellow flowers in their planting scheme.
You and this yellow, honestly. So that is feeling great. So what else is new with you? How is the flower field?
The flower field is doing good. It's still I seem to always, when someone asks me about it, I always seem to be saying I'm mulching. But it's like half an acre.
You made mulching a verb.
It's literally, honestly, every bone in my body aches. I've done so much mulching because I don't
use a machine or something, love.
Oh, look, but I don't think that's the fun of it.
You could outsource the job.
No,
Get a tasker in.
No, No, it's
Oh, Melon.
good exercise. I like being out there.
Yeah. Oh, that's
And
cool.
the mulching job is almost over. I've started
Hmm.
planting. I just yesterday had a huge delivery of dahlias and peonies, so
Hmm.
that's awesome. I've got some native plants in. I've got the wildflowers are starting to pop up. All the test bed of bulbs, so the spring bulbs, which was different
Oh,
varieties of
that looks so cool. I
daffodil,
would love
hyacinth.
to have a space with like rows of bulbs like that. I don't know. There's something
Yeah.
really cool about that. I don't know.
These were tests because I really wanted to see how they grew in the soil and in the
Yeah.
environment, if we could keep the deer off them. So I just
Oh.
planted a few of each because I
Did you
didn't.
say keep the deer off or beat the deer off?
I said keep the deer, keep the deer off.
Oh,
Um, so I just planted a few varieties of each to see how it all
yeah.
went because I didn't want to spend too much money on like hundreds, if not thousands of bulbs. Do you know what I mean? And then nothing grows.
Yeah, that is cool.
Um, that's good. So for next year, I know what I'm
Mhm.
doing. Summer bulbs are going in. I've got tons of seedlings growing in the house, which will start to be hardening off soon. So
Yeah.
it's all happening,
And your
basically.
husband managed to look after them when you were away, when you were here. Yeah.
Yeah, he did. He managed to keep them alive. They're a little bit,
100%.
100%.
Woo!
I'd say they're a little bit leggy. Yeah,
Yeah, that's difficult though, isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah. And
They're a little
also,
leggy.
to a beginner, like how leggy is leggy? Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's so subjective.
It is,
Oh.
but you know what? In my experience, as long as they're strong enough, they do catch
Mhm.
up once you've got them back on track and
Mhm.
they tend to be okay. So,
Oh, that's cool.
we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I've got loads of sewing to do after we've finished recording today, actually. I've got a
Sewing. In my head, I was like, she's going to make a patchwork quilt. But I heard you say sewing.
sewing.
My brain just like blipped.
Well, I can definitely confirm I won't be doing that, Michael.
Oh, Melon. Okay, that is nice.
So yeah.
Um, what have I been up to, you might ask? So,
Well, I
sorry.
mean, I didn't even get to that bit,
I've
but yeah.
just been in the US, but also, Melon, like, I don't know if I fully like divulged on socials and stuff, but I actively made myself homeless in December because I was paying rent for an apartment and I really need to get my act together and buy a house at some point, but I've just been so busy with stuff. And I was like, so I kept paying rent for this apartment that some months I would only be there for like 5 or 6 days because so much travel has been kicking off and just stuff in here. And it's a really cool year. And I'm really thankful for all the opportunities. But I was like, okay, do I need an apartment? Do I need all this stuff? And I was already going away at Christmas, and then I could already see in my diary I was away for 3 weeks in the Netherlands and Germany in January, and I knew the Californian pack trials were coming up, and I was like, oh, do I need an apartment? Could I not just stay in Airbnb or like? And you know, I've got this like sudden allergy to stuff over the last few
Yes.
years as well. So I was like, I don't need all this stuff as well because do you know what, Ellen? We got all these clothes. I just wear the same all the time. You know what I mean? And so I put a load of stuff in storage. I gave up my apartment, and I've kind of been like piecing it together since then. And sometimes staying with friends. Sometimes, considering the cost of rent in London, like it's cheaper at the moment to be in a hotel. So kind
Yeah.
of like, yeah, I've just been kind of coasting around, which at times I'm kind of like, oh, I don't feel so settled. I need to sort something, but I haven't got the time to sort something. But then at other times, probably it's like 60%, 40%, 60% of the time, I'm feeling like, whoa, this is cool because it gives you a real freedom. And I stayed for a week in Brighton. I just kind of like, checked it out, saw how it felt, kind of that. And, and when I've been away, like in the US, I wasn't kind of thinking, oh, I've got this apartment I'm paying for at home and la la la. Yeah, so I'm kind of like living this gloriously nomadic life. And yeah, so I'm like probably missing growing more than ever, actually. Because yesterday I was talking about, what was it? I was on QVC and I was talking about when I used to grow like sweet peppers when I was a kid. And I was like, oh, I really itching to grow something because I feel like I haven't for that time. But the way things are with just the kind of work schedule, at least until the summer, is just, yeah, it's just a lot of other stuff going on, which is great. And that's the stuff that I enjoy, this mixed portfolio. But yeah, I'm kind of like very much, do you know something that I've been doing? Sometimes I'll buy a bunch of daffodils and like put them into like, not even a vase, but like the the glass that is got the toothpaste in.
That's what I used to do.
Did you really?
I even done a video. I done a reel once.
Did you?
I cut some flowers from the allotment and I take them to my hotel room and I put them in the hotel room.
So I'm going to do that more and more here and there. And I've actually, I just agreed to do a reel for Robert Dias as well about kind of like setting up these kind of like little kind of temporary gardens in different places, because it's a different, I don't know, I just wanted to do a different thing for a bit, and like people will think it's crazy, but like you just gotta try things, do you know what I mean? And like
I think if you can,
I don't want to do it forever, but it's super.
But we go for, I was talking to a lady called Andrea. She's from Winghaven here in Charlotte. And I was talking to her about how my kind of career within horticulture has kind of changed a little bit recently. And she said, it's like gardening. We go through different seasons in our life. And I thought that's a lovely way of putting it, because
we're never the same person. If you look back 7 years, you're never the same person.
So it's just a different season for you right now, and that's all good. If that's if you feel good doing that right now, then why not do it?
And you shouldn't be afraid to just let the process happen as well. I feel like this has almost got me onto another track where I kind of like talking a lot recently about you just got to follow your instincts and just do what feels right for you at that moment. And I feel like we waste so much time just ignoring our instincts all the time. And we could really, I don't know, get so much more done if we just
so
kind of
true. And when we were chatting with Farmer Nick on our recording today, so that episode is out in May, we were saying how isn't it amazing that you could plant one plant in an urban environment with no other plants around it, but that butterfly or that bee will find it. Their pure instinct at work, because they are not influenced by all this other stuff that humans are. So it's like we've lost our gut instinct and the ability to just go with the flow, because we are influenced all of the time by all of the other things. So just being able to go with how you feel is right at the time is an amazingly good thing to do for your wellness as well,
But even Ellen, and we've talked about this, I know, but even in the way I communicate with people, I'm just trying to be the most authentic and honest I can be, and kind of like, and that doesn't mean being like cruel to people, those shoes don't suit you, but kind of being constructive and like wanting to help people in the long term rather than just be quick and nice in the short term. Do you know what I mean? Because sometimes we're just kind of like honest, almost as we're kind of like, we just answer in a habit. It's kind of like someone asks you, oh, do you like my scarf? And you'd be kind of like, yeah, it's lovely. But like, I don't know, maybe they could have a green one rather than a blue one. I don't know.
I mean, there's an element of politeness to saying yes, you like.
Yeah, there is, but you kind of, if someone, maybe the different example here is, I've given you a bad example. I got a friend from my hometown, and like, she doesn't know what a podcast is, so she won't be listening to this. And she came downstairs one time when I was at hers, and she was kind of like looking I think she was looking for like almost like reassurance, but the way she worded it wasn't that. It was like, do you think these shoes go with this outfit? And I was like thinking, like, I think a better shoe for that outfit would be like a Doc Martin. And I knew she had some because she wears that sort of thing. But she was like, oh. I was like, well, are you asking me if these shoes fit this outfit, or are you asking me to agree with you that you think it looks okay? So it wasn't a clear question, but for me, I was being really helpful because I really felt that the Doc Martens would look better. And you're asking me for my advice. If I'm a good friend, I'm going to give you that honest advice rather than just palm you off with something like, yeah, looks great, hon. I don't know.
That's a sign of a good friend, because if I was with a friend,
or am I not good at talking to girls?
If something looks good, if a friend of mine said, "Oh, does this look good?" and I think it doesn't, then I would definitely say, because that's what a good friend does. But we've kind of been taught that the right thing to say is what you think the person wants to hear.
Yeah, exactly. Which is like BS to a degree, young Ellen.
So anyway, that went off on a different train of thought. But
We've only got about 6 more minutes, Ellen, so I might need to leave you to do a bit of admin. But yeah, sorry, because we do need to jump on our next interview as well, because we really are lining them up for this series, aren't we, darling?
We really are, and I'm excited about it. And we had a lovely photo shoot with Caroline Horn Photography for this series as well at Cambridge Botanic, which is really awesome. So yeah, and we were saying I think that we are allowed to just shout about it for a moment, that we're kind of
course,
one of the OG horticulture gardening podcasts, and being like, I think our first episode came out in 2018, long before there were other podcasts. So I feel really proud of us for doing it, you know?
Yeah, me too, because like many different ones can come and go, and kind of like we've kind of always evolved and just followed our hearts.
We followed our We have. And I've got to say a massive thank you, obviously, to everyone who downloads and listens, because that's what keeps us going.
Ooh la la. Thank you.
Okay, Michael. I will see you in now 5 minutes.
Yes, I need to schedule in a quick wee that when you go for a wee, you put it on mute, but I'm like like the toilet is over there.
Again, Michael, it's just politeness, that's all.
I'm not into that. All right, I will see you later, darling. Nice to see you.
Everyone, enjoy the series.
I like your ficus tiara. Transform your garden the easy way with Garden on a Roll. This is the perfect solution for beautiful ready-made borders. If you love the look of professionally designed planting but don't have the time, knowledge or patience to plan it yourself, Garden on a Roll has you covered. Garden on a Roll are supporting Series 20 of the Plant-Based Podcast. Each border by Garden on a Roll is expertly designed by award-winning garden designer Antony Henn, and delivered with a simple, pre-planned, biodegradable template that you just roll out and plant in one go. No guesswork, no stress, just follow the instructions and enjoy the results. Whether you're refreshing a tired space or starting from scratch, you'll get a cohesive, seasonal design that works with the plants chosen, which will thrive together and look good all year round. Choose your style and size, and everything you need is then delivered to your door. It is planting by numbers. Visit Garden on a Roll today and bring your outdoor space to life.